Good evening, a warm welcome. Most hairdressers tremble when a client asks for an upstyle or a bridal hair, and it has nothing to do with talent. But let me tell you, my very first bride at Bridal Sassoon, when I knew that I had that appointment booked, I had so much anxiety for a young girl, couldn't sleep at night, dreaded it. And when the client sat in my chair, I just recommended the one and the only hairstyle I could do. When she walked towards reception, if I could have got my knees and prayed, I would have, because I wanted to just pray to the beautiful hair gods and say, please let her get out of the salon, get into her car, get to her venue, walk down the aisle, and I just pray that she says, I do. And then after that, everything can fall apart. But just don't let this hairstyle fall apart before then. So I've had some of my most exciting experiences doing bridal, from doing a celebrity bride in Hawaii, through to some fun things for TV shows, some really diverse things. And they've always been so exciting. A French chateau, which was definitely my favorite. And yeah, I drank a lot of champagne on that one. But anyway, that can be such a joyous experience to be part of such a special day and to be more than just a hairdresser. So thank you so much for joining tonight, because we are going to go on a lovely journey and explore this whole beautiful world. Have you had questions? Please pop them into the chat. And I have a very special guest who I'm going to introduce you to in a moment. The bride will remember her hair long after the flowers, and yet bridal hair is often the most underpriced, under-strategized service in the salon. Why do we do that, right? Why do we do that? So some of this hair that you're going to see tonight clearly is mine. And this particular look, actually, if I just go to full screen, one of my goals was I just did not want her to look like that typical bride. And to me, that was like, how can I get a gorgeous look without her looking quintessential, like an old-fashioned bride? And I think that's the thing. We have to be modern in our looks. So in this masterclass, you'll discover the biggest mistakes stylists make when pricing bridal, how to consult beyond what do you want me to do today? That classic thing. What do you want? Design to face shape, why venue and gown silhouette changes everything. How to design modern bridal that does not look like a wedding cake. Yes, wedding cake hair. And tonight I will demonstrate for you two hairstyles. Got two hairstyles tonight, and I'm very excited about demonstrating those to you. Hairdressing is 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Bridal is definitely 80% psychology, 20% mechanics. Right here is where we can go so horribly wrong, because we get into the hair, into the detail, sometimes not understanding how is this going to photograph, not understanding how is it going to balance with the total look. And the danger of anyone working in bridal is picking up the tools only focused on hair, because this is absolutely about big picture. And what I know is that these principles apply larger than life, because it's probably the most photographed hairstyle a bride will ever have, or a girl will ever have. But these principles tonight apply to everyday reality behind your chair, because everyone has an image, a status, who they are not. And that is that 80% psychology. Most stylists start with the curls. Experts start with identity. So before I get into my first demonstration, we're going to unpack that, and we're going to dive deeply into what will help you along your way. When it all goes wrong, bride is 40 minutes late, weather changes, humidity spike, mother-in-law hates everything. Oh gosh, I've been there. Hair accessories will not stay in. I worked with a hair accessory for it was actually the British Times newspaper, putting these diamonds into the hair. And I was trembling and shaking. And the guy said to me, "Are you nervous?" And I thought, gosh, does it show that I'm nervous? He said, "How does it feel to be holding something which is worth about £2 million?" And it was a diamond piece that was actually being taken away by private jet to a princess in Saudi Arabia. And I could not get this thing to stay in the hair. So that was my very first experience of, how do I have this stay? Trust me, tonight, this is not £1 million. These are cheap and cheerful, but regardless, how do you get them to stay? That's a big challenge, right? And then, of course, you've got the photographer, who all of a sudden will say, "Can we have a second look?" And then, of course, bridesmaids meltdown. So ask, are you reacting or leading? That's psychology, that's authority. And that, my friends, is a 5-star consultation. And when that 5-star consultation is solid, it covers every single aspect. So I'd like to bring in now my dear friend, Lindsay, who's a member of my art team. And it's always great to have somebody here who can also identify with some of the challenges. Welcome, Lindsay.
Hi.
Lindsay, do you relate to any of the challenges I've spoken about so far?
All of it.
Do you love working with brides, or do you have mixed feelings?
I love it now that I'm more confident. Definitely in the beginning, feeling I only knew how to do certain hairstyles. So it was trying to get her to agree to the hairstyle that I knew how to do. And that's not a good feeling for anybody. So
that's how we learn how to be super persuasive, right?
Right.
Stylists undersell bridal services because they don't position themselves as a designer. So they default to Pinterest. So, Lindsay, when you're looking at Pinterest, I'm sure, like myself, you see some amazing stuff, right? Then you see some amazing AI, which is inspirational, and then you see scary.
Oh, yeah.
Do you find it energy exhausting going through trying to find a treasure?
Oh, yes. It takes a long time because it's few and far between.
Yeah, and that is exactly how it is for our clients. They are digging through Pinterest, and often they'll bring you the best of what they found. But what if it wasn't the best? So in my training, I have a strategy so that brides do not waste hours doom scrolling with Pinterest, clearly. And the other aspect of this is, what is the value of a bridal style? And that's where we're going to look at right now. What is the value of your work? And how do you up your game and increase the value, which is, again, so very, very important. So the average bridal budget, let's look at this for a moment. Flowers can range from this is for the bouquet, by the way. The flowers, 200 to 500. Dress, 2,000 to 8,000. Shoes, 300 to 900. Can't even see the shoes most of the time. Photographer, 3,000 to 7,000. And Lindsay, what do you think the average price for a bridal hairstyle is?
$250.
Da, 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 da. Yes, $250. So what's wrong here? There's something really, really wrong. But if you think that this is wrong, check this one out. This is going to make you laugh, my friends. Dog grooming annually, 800 to 1,500. And really, if I had this cute little boy or girl, wow, that's a lot of money. Women spend on average an approximately 877 to over 1,000 per year on hair care, including salon visits. So we have still underpriced ourselves even here. So the question is, how do you see yourself as a designer or somebody that's just going to do a set of beach curls? And that's where I think the trap is. And I want to tonight expand your horizons and have you think about this whole world very, very differently. And from that difference, and of course, my training, just to give you a little heads up, I'm presenting a 2-day boot camp in Bridal, which is a virtual one, at the end of March. So a lot of what I'm saying tonight is going to be taught in detail over 2 days. Tonight we have 90 minutes to share with you some great stuff. So this is just the entree to where we're going to go. So the sad thing is that sometimes hair is overdone. Wedding cake hair is not a modern bridal style. I caution over braiding, over curling, volume without intention, or spray helmet. You know, it's the typical helmet head. Why most wedding looks look dated, and how to position yourself as a bridal authority in your region. And that's super important. So what makes a photo stunning? What is that? How do you create that magic? It's great hair. Hair that completes, it does not compete. Hair that is an incredible accessory, not the hidden shoe. So why should you listen to me? I've obviously won a lot of awards, done a lot of fashion shows, been on a lot of press. Vivienne Mackinder Academy is now celebrating its 22nd year, and I've trained a tremendous amount of hairdressers. And one of the big things that I love is to take an everyday look and then turn it into bridal, so it does not look too over the top. I'm very blessed to have had my training with the most iconic companies, Bridal and Trevor Sorbie. So when I'm looking at a bride, I design bridal looks that are going to work head to toe. I've designed looks for decades, some of the most elegant weddings, including celebrity and television. I love to work backstage, and very often when I'm working with a designer and I get into the head of the designer asking, you know, what is the sensibility and so on and so forth, I've been very fortunate because throughout my career, I've been trained to look at the total look and understand that aspect. And I think that's super, super important. Many of you may right now not be looking at the video. You may be still locked into this gorgeous man. Trust me, I took my time doing his hair. Lindsay was there at that show, and I think she was, even though she's happily in her relationship, I even think that she was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it's tough being a hairdresser. So when I'm working with a bride, I want to be very sensitive to the total look. When we did this bridal shoot, we were at the Vanderbilt mansion, and I thought, wow, how beautiful to actually take this and create this beautiful story, to have my fairy tale bride, how incredible to be at this extraordinary location. And, you know, everything has to be cohesive all the way through to every single element, from the minimal classic to the more embellished. That to me is very important. So in one day, I did 9 bridal looks. We filmed them all, and they are actually in our editorial package. So pretty amazing what we were able to do. I want you to stay to the end, because we're going to be giving away a prize to our boot camp, a ticket. You can also win one of some of my favorite tools and a mannequin tonight. And we also have a special masterclass offer. So do stay to the end. How are we going to score that tonight in terms of the prizes? Whoever is the most engaged, asking questions, the most interactive in this program, we're going to be giving the prizes to you. So you better get typing and start sharing some great stuff with us, because that's how we're going to measure tonight. So this little girl may be going home to one of you, as I say, the most engaged stylist in the chat, the one asking powerful questions, sharing breakthrough moments. So are you in, my friends? Give me a yay in the chat and let the game begin. So consultation is queen, and this is the gatekeeper to your success and your financial wealth in this particular area. So the number one thing, notice here, Lindsay, where hair is living. Does it surprise you that hair is number 5 on our checklist?
No, it doesn't.
Now, do you think most hairdressers would go to hair first as the number 1?
Yes, because they are not looking at the total look or the vibe of the wedding day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So first of all, the venue. The venue influences the gown, obviously. So if you're going to be getting married in a chateau, or if you're going to be getting married at the beach, the gown fits the venue. So venue fits the gown fits the venue, because that is larger than life. So when you start to think about the hair, it's the smallest part with the makeup, but everything, when you're looking at the big, has to work even with the detail of the small. And that's what makes this so magical. So when we're looking at this venue, I'm asking, number one, where is the wedding taking place? The beach, a vineyard, a cathedral, a town hall. Where is this actually taking place? And again, these are images that we shot from our event at the Vanderbilt mansion, which was totally cool. Another thing I would always be asking, is this a two-look bride strategy? The ceremony versus the party? Do you plan for both an upstyle, transition, and release? So here you can see we've got the hair up, then it drops down. So what is that strategy? Have you even offered it? These are very important things, because it impacts you obviously being at the venue. It also impacts your time there, and it impacts the value in terms of what you're offering to your bride. So the gown, the silhouette, one of the big things here in planning the hairstyle is we can't plan the hairstyle until we have asked all of these questions. And of course, the rehearsal and the discovery session are so important for a seamless experience when it comes to the wedding day. Balance and proportion. Are the shoulders being revealed? How big is the gown? Because you've got to have scale. When the gown is so big, how do you proportion the hair to balance? Are there beads going down the back? So therefore they do not want the hair draped down the back. Is there an off the shoulder diagonal angle? All of these things are so important so that the hair sits very, very beautifully. If you, for example, did this hairstyle and made it too small and too tight for the size of the dress, the head is going to look too tiny, and you can see it's fluffy, it's floaty. So the hair opening the face and just a little bit of hair coming down. And again, look at the environment that she's in, which actually speaks to it all. So it's the silhouette, it's the fashion, it's the neckline. Remember, the hair is an accessory to this particular look. Is she wearing a shorter dress? How cute is this? Again, you're looking at balance and proportion. That is so important as we're going through. So this is going to be one of the first demonstrations I'm going to do for you. And I'm going to show you my first hairstyle. And Lindsay's going to man the chat, and she's going to ask questions. And we're going to just make sure here that we're really good to go. So let me just bring my camera over. Nope. There we go. Right. I have divided the hair, a small section from the parting to the temple. I have blow dried the top of the hair, and I'm going to start off by not getting sucked into this. I need to look at big picture. So I will always be voguing around the face and look at the balance and proportion. I won't be looking like this saying, okay, so this is the hair and this is what I'm going to do. No, I'm going to be looking through here to make sure that the balance is correct. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair and put it into a ponytail. And I did blow dry the hair, and I have a diagonal parting from the front into the back. And the diagonal parting, Lindsay, do you know why the diagonal parting is important on a ponytail like this, as opposed to diagonal all the way back?
It makes it flow better.
Yes, and the back becomes more balanced, so I don't have a lopsided effect. So where I'm going to put this ponytail is going to be very, very, very important. Very important.
Would you say that you base your ponytail off of where the jawline points to typically?
Yes, I do. Because I want to make sure that I have a straight profile. So in here, I'm going to take the ponytail slightly off center, just slightly off center. Now, when I want to elevate my ponytail, I come from the underneath. When I want the ponytail to be lower, I come from the bottom. So I've got to just make sure that I'm here. Notice as I'm designing this, I keep looking into my mirror. I'm slightly to the side, and that's where I'm going to go. I'm now going to come in and I'm going to put in my elastic band here, and I'm going to, oh, is this the tight one? Well, I've got two bands here. Hold on. This is the one. So what I have here are two elastic bands tied together with bobby pins. I'm going to stab this bobby pin in here. I'm going to wrap the hair around and around. And now I'm going to stab that down in there. So that's the ponytail locked into place. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the hair over. And again, notice how I'm using my mirror. I'm now going to drag this, or drape it, or drag it over here. And I'm going to now take my next bobby pins, and I'm going to do a slide down there, and then I'm going to slide up here. And I'm going to also, just while I'm doing this, put a clip there. I'm also going to raise her up.
Are you locking the bobby pins into each other, like crossing them?
No, I haven't actually, but maybe I should have done. I'm now going to smooth this over, and I'm now going to put in my next bobby pin. One of the things that I have been working on a lot, oh gosh, I've got to go on this side. Notice how much I keep looking at the mirror. As I take this across, coming through there, elastic band at the very end. Tuck. Tuck or cut, right?
Right.
Here I'm going to come over and get my pins. And I'm going to take a large Japanese pin, and I'm going to, from here, come through and down. So there I am there. I've got to check the balance. This, if you've got nowhere to put it, just cut it off, right?
Yep.
Right, so here I'm just going to bring this up. I'm going to drop my comb on the floor because that's a really important part of the technique.
Got to be able to juggle.
I'm going to now use some hairspray. Spray in the direction of the hairstyle. One can will usually do. Take this comb out. Now I can the clip out, I should say. Now I'm going to just come through here and elevate this a little bit. Let me just check in my mirror. Have a nice shape there. Check my profile, quite nice. I'm now going to come in here and elevate this just a little tiny bit with a small Japanese pin.
Jessica is asking, would you tease the center of the bun for extra foundation?
Could do. Yes, you could do. Although, you know, that's a very good question because it depends on the density of the hair, right? How dense is the hair? And yes, if you've got thinner hair, oh, that was a mistake. I put hairspray on this and now I'm combing it. That's a disaster. Ooh, yee. Oy, oy, oy. Don't do that, Viv. You know, I don't usually use hairspray until the end. Right, I'm just going to save myself there. That was dangerous, right? Okay, this is not complete, but we'll carry on. Yes, you've always got to look at, well, the hair, do you have sufficient hair to do what you need to do? So now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to blow dry this just to get some elevation. So obviously my voguing around the face, I'm demonstrating hair, but I have not finished my consultation with you yet. So I will be going back to that and I will be showing the importance of that. So that's not too special right now. So I'm going to just come in with my blow dryer and I'm going to see just a whisper of hairspray in here. And I'm just going to elevate this with the blow dryer. So blow drying is an important part of this. Look into the mirror again. One of the things I like the least about going on location is very often you don't have a good mirror. So worth taking your own to be prepared. So lifting that up, I've got a better balance there. So I'm just going to lift that back, comb this back, and now through here, I'm going to now push this wave into place. I don't like the height that I have back there, so I want the height that I have there. So I'm going to put in a clip. This I like. This at the back, because I've pushed it, I don't like. So I'm going to flatten this back part. So I'm going to put in a clip here, flatten it. Then I'm going to push. Otherwise, I'm going to have I'm going to have something that's not going to balance. Now, remember this. When you're designing this work, it's got to look good from every single angle. And I still don't like how that's living. So I'm going to just flatten it here. Smaller clip. Combing this through again. Now what I'm going to do is hold my fingers here and just bring this across and have that wave sitting there. So I'm going to put that clip in here. Now here, I want that to lay flat. So I'm going to clip that here. Here, I'm going to just gently drape that across, pushing it through. Another clip. And again, I'm going to push it through. I must have that wave. And what do you think is the biggest challenge here, Lindsay? In this, oh, gee.
Not messing up what you did before.
Sorry, love. Say that again.
Combing it and not messing up what you did before.
Yeah, precisely. Precisely. Combing it and not messing up what we did before. So
Lisa was asking, you did the top 3 curls on dry hair, right?
Yes, yes, I barrel curled it. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm going to spray this to get this nice wave in here. So then the question you're going to be asking is, well, then now what do you do? It's called pray. So now I've got the lift at the front. I've got to look in the mirror at every single angle. This must be a beautiful shape just through here, keeping that smooth, keeping that tucked. I must move again, mirror, 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 mirror. So no matter how this bride is photographed, she will look beautiful. I'm going to come in and I'm going to actually use my hair jewelry in here. Be very careful that when you're using jewelry and you're going back in and using hairspray, you could take away the shine. So that's very important. And when you're doing this, clearly you need to see the shape and the balance. So now I'm going to show you a hair sewing method with a hairpin. And what I'm going to do here, I think I've got too many pins in here. It's so hard to find the one I want. Where's the one I want? Where's my baby ones? They're here somewhere. Okay, here's a baby one. Here's my pin, and let me just see if I can show you closer. I'm going to sew in here. I'm going to come up and down, up and down, up and down, and sew through. And if this is going to truly stay in place, in terms of, I'm going to do another hairstyle for you tonight. So I'll show you in a moment, the fishhook pin method. You're familiar with that, aren't you, Lindsay?
Yeah.
So here, sewing up and down, 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 up and down. I'm feeling my fingers sliding through, and I've got that into place. So what that is if I was to finish this hairstyle, I would bend the back of this like a fish hook, bend it so it doesn't slide out. But because this hairstyle is going to change tonight, I'm not going to be doing that. So in here, I'm just going to come through here as well, and sometimes reversing the pin in backwards so it's buried on the inside. Now up and down, 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 slide through.
And you're going all the way down to the scalp, right?
Yes, yes. And I would do that as many times as I need to in there. So that's got that placed. So now with the final part of this, I would come in and I would design another little piece in here. So the imperative part is that if I only look at it this way, what am I seeing? I'm seeing nothing. I've got to keep going like here and here. Detail, big picture, detail, big picture. I've got to keep bouncing backwards and forwards to make sure that I can see my balance and my proportion. And what I do know about hair accessories, sometimes you put them in and then it's like, oh no, now what's going to happen? So now as I look here, I've got it nice and smooth. And would it be nice to put them on this side so that this side isn't boring? And the answer would be yes. So in here, I'm just going to come through and put this one right through here at the top. And then I'm just going to come in again using my mirror. And sometimes you've got to use your mirror and pin it this way versus looking this way.
How much time would you give yourself to do this hairstyle?
Oh, this hairstyle actually, this hairstyle really, 20 minutes is this hairstyle. I mean, I don't know how long this has taken, but it's a very basic execution. The set part could take you a little longer. So there we have our first look. She is classic. She is elegant. And It works quite nicely. Would you agree, my friends? You like it?
It's beautiful.
Yeah, nice, right? Nothing other than a miracle as far as I'm concerned.
Did you use any products to prep the hair before you did the set?
Yes, I did. I used some mousse for bounce. I used a lot of oil. I actually used this Cebu oil, and I used this hairspray. So these were the products I used today. We used them backstage at Milan. So I've really been enjoying them. I thought they were really quite nice. So let's move on. That was the first look. So there she is, elegant, classic. But let's now make sure we're putting it on the right person. So when you become a bridal expert, you enter fashion. You're no longer a service provider, you're an image expert. And you can see here the hairstyle I did at the Vanderbilt Mansion. You can see here it's a lazy ponytail, it's bouffanted, it's very relaxed and very undone. The dress sets the stage, the hairstyle completes the character. Here I worked with a bouffant, I worked with hair extensions, and I think that's really important to know how to work with hair extensions. And again, I did not want her to look quintessential bridal. So we spoke about the venue influences the gown. The gown is the fashion flavor. But let's move on now to the three wheels of fashion, your bridal identity. We have how quiet or loud is the bride? Where does she live in fashion? And the femininity of the look. When these three are aligned, the client feels authentic. When they are misaligned, she feels off, even if the style is technically perfect. And I think this is the danger, my friends. We get so into the technique that we start to forget about everything else. And when we get pushback, we wonder why. Would you agree with that, Lindsay?
I think when I get nervous or I start to like doubt what I'm doing, that's when I get really into the technique and I start looking small instead of big.
And then we get into trouble, don't we?
Oh yeah. Then you look up.
Then you wish there was not a mirror. Every bride falls into one of these personalities: minimal, bohemian, trendy, romantic, classic, glamour, fairy tale, and vintage. So when she falls into those, you've got to be clear about what's going on. Once the dress personality is clear, the hairstyle is known, the texture, the silhouette, the hair accessory placement, the volume placement. Hair design becomes far easier and far more intentional. This young lady, I bouffanted her, and then I actually did hair sewing to give her that really lovely undone look. The wheel of fashion, the personality. So you could say that this lovely lady, she's a little bit ambivert, going to shout. Now, what would make her less shouting and talking would be if the bouffant was a lot smaller, like a half an inch off of the head. But the skirt was very big at the bottom, and I was trying to balance the proportion of the skirt. Here, you could say that this talks is a nice wave and a little tiny cute little flip at the side. But again, it's a very big dress. So now we look at fashion. So this is where we make our money: classic, conservative, commercial, trendy. So what happens is that we get sometimes into a uniform. But here I would say this is a really good example of a classic look, which is gorgeous. Here we are classic, a little bit more fairy tale. And this was just such a fun hairstyle to do because it was so detailed and sculptured. And I just sort of loved the theater of it. And what I also like about this is that the dress was so simple that I felt the scale, making the head bigger, and the embellishment with her face was just really very, very, very beautiful. So for me, this was quite a lovely effect to make it very sculptured. Then we get into trendy, and one could say, do I say it? Common. The beach curl, undone, done, whatever. But very appropriate, especially a vineyard wedding, a bohemian bride, very much more sort of in that sort of sensibility. So yes, it's gorgeous. And here you can see it's very, very appropriate. The three wheels of fashion, when we're now focusing on the fashion itself, here we have romantic and classic. And you can see here, I took her very long hair and I gave her the illusion of a shorter hairstyle. Very, very, very classic. And the simplicity of it's really gorgeous. But what has to come through in your portfolio is your taste level. Fairy tale. And here, obviously, the environment works. So a client's going to understand that makes total sense. She's in a mansion, or she's in a castle, or she's in a chateau. And, you know, how do you scale what you're doing to be proportionate and modern? Now, obviously, if all of this hair had gone up, nothing hanging down on her shoulders, it would be a very different look. Her head would be really quite tiny in relationship to the volume of the skirt itself. So you can see, looking at the totality is important. Here we have something that's a little bit more feminist, you could say androgynous, where we've got really fabulous short hairstyles, and again, super, super, super elegant. Then we come into our femininity, where we're looking at feminine and romantic. Here we have our romantic bride. And then here you can see we're getting feminine and a little bit more ethereal. This was a French twist that was hair sewn with a headband that was sewn in. And this was a nightmare, this headband, to sew it in and have it stay. It was really quite difficult. Hair sewing is very good for this. Now we move into glamorous and sexy. She's glamorous, it's sexy, it's more polished, it's definitely done. Body type. So let's shift into body type. Body type is so important here. So what we have is the height of your bride. How high are her shoes? Sometimes brides wear crazy high shoes in order to proportion the gown. Or they can be wearing flat shoes because their fiance is not as tall. But what's really important here is to know the proportion of the body, and that the head is 1/7 of the body. Clearly, when you're working with an apple and a pear, sensitivity to how the balance and the proportion are going to work. And ironically, from all my research that I did, when we get into the fuller figures, very often they are not wearing white. It is taupe, it is cream, it is not white for the obvious reasons, because clearly a white would be a little bit harsh to wear. So does that mean that the color can have more richness in terms of the hair color, richer and more vibrant? So again, the head can't be too small, because here we've got our apple and our pear body type, where we have to balance again and make sure that we're always in proportion. Or very often too, you have the sheer netting on the arms to sort of cover up if the person's got chubby arms. You want to create the illusion of everything being beautiful. And again, it's the balance and the proportion that are so important in this. So face shape. The next is the face shape. We still are not talking about hair. We're still looking at the details so that the hairstyle the bride is wearing is going to be absolutely perfect. So I always want to know what the client's favorite feature is. I always study what is her face shape. Is there a feature she does not like? And because I have a lot of experience in photographic work, I know how faces photograph. And so therefore, when I'm looking at that, and this has been such a wonderful exercise of voguing around the face. To vogue around the face, I make the shape with my hand. I make the shape with the hair, and I study how the face shape changes. And I'm always looking for oval, always. That's the most important thing, that I'm trying to create that oval face shape. So here you can see from 1 to 4, we have an oval, we have a pear, we have a round, and we have a rectangle. Exactly the same hairstyle on all of these different face shapes. Now, what I'm going to show you next is how I balanced each of these face shapes, and watch how radically different they look. They all now look oval. I did not touch the face, But for the pear, number 2, I balanced it by giving lots of volume on the top of the head. For the round, a symmetry. For the rectangle, volume and shortening the face. So if you look here, and now look here, another example, you can see that the balance of the face. So now I did all pears. All of these hairstyles are based for a pear face shape. And you can see how from number 4, the elongation and volume at the crown. Number 3, the volume at the top of the head. Number 4, extending the crown region and giving some volume. And number 1, a symmetry. Never negate the power of changing the hairstyle to face shape, because you can see here, yes, it's pretty, but wow, that's so much better. That, it to me, is huge, huge, huge. So photographically, it all gets emphasized, because in a camera, you're going to miss the proportion. So now I look at hair. Now I'm saying, right, well, what's the hairstyle going to be? I know the venue, I know the gown, I know the body type, I know the face shape. So now let me dive into the hair. There are 5 basic silhouettes in the bridal world: the tiara front, the crown decoration, the nape decoration, the half up structure, and then just loose, hair down loose with some accents. So these are the kind of your 5 basic silhouettes. And again, how are you going to keep the theme of, is it bohemian? Is it romantic? Is it quiet? Is it dramatic? Where is that going to live? So now I'm going to demonstrate for you the second version of this hairstyle. And I'm now going to make her super soft. So Lindsay, any questions that, so far, or anything that was like, wow, that was really quite profound, how that changed?
They were impressed with the changing of the face shape. And then somebody asked, how long before the wedding do you typically do the consultation? What is that process like for you?
It varies. I'd have to say it does vary, because it's, some people plan very far out. I think it's once the gown has been established and all of those details, because you want to rehearse with a veil if she's wearing a veil. You want to rehearse with the hair accessories. You need to see a photograph of the gown. So I would say you are the last port of call, but you do want to be sure that you've got a window so that you're booked out. You know if you're going to need support. You know all those very important things. So I would say that would be really, really vital. So
another question was that a lot of the pictures that you were showing did not have a veil.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
No, because I suppose because I'm not really I like them, but usually they hide so much of their hair and they don't stay in that long. And when they come out, then they're little blah. And I have found more brides today don't wear veils. I don't know. How about you? What's your thought? That's a good question.
Yeah, I just assumed that you were showing them without the veil, because in my experience, the brides do like a quick ceremony and then the veil goes.
Yes, it's super quick. Super quick. Yes. And it also depends on the age of the bride, because I think the older the bride is, the harder it is to do the veil thing. And there are so many people today on their 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th wedding. So I think you have to take that into consideration. Right, I'm going to change this now into an undone hairstyle. So I'm going to use this, my topsy-turvy. I'm going to backcomb the hair here, and I'm going to just start to undo this hairstyle. So here, bringing this up, again, looking in the mirror at the lift that I have. And now I'm going to spin around. I'm actually going to put a clip in there just to make sure that this doesn't go flat. Actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to tease it. Nice. Just a little bit. Because it may go flat. Not that she's got a lot of hair here. I've got to be very, very careful here because I only have a small window. So I'm just going to stack and pack there. And then I've got to make sure from the front that that works. So, you know, I've worked with, for example, makeup artists who are getting $1,000 a day for a bride. And obviously, when you're going on location with your bride, it becomes a whole different thing. So, you know, are you luxury? Are you expensive? What makes you stand out from the crowd? Someone can go anywhere and get a beach curl. And I'm not negating the skill of doing a beautiful beach curl, but common is common. Just say it the way it is, Viv. I'm going to come in through here and I'm just going to bring that through and pull it through here, holding the front just in case. And then I'm going to pull it through here. And I'm going to take it through here and make it vanish. I'm very good at making rabbits vanish. I'll worry about that in a moment. Right, so I've got that there. So I've got to look in my mirror. That's still in balance. That's still good. And there it is, crisscrossing over. Now, obviously, I would not do this hairstyle, what I'm doing right now, on someone with dark hair, because it's not going to show. Color of the hair is very important in this. And what I would do on a redhead or a blonde, it's very different for what I would do on a brunette. So here I'm just going to very, very lightly tease at a diagonal line. Make sure my front is good. Again, use my mirror. Clearly, this bride had one too many before the wedding. She's she's a bit laced right now. When you're not sure, don't do anything because you'll regret it. And don't try too hard. That's
I
in a
like you're using the mirror and moving the hair around to try to figure out where you want it to go.
Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it?
Sticking it in there.
But you see, the tendency is to want to get in close. And if I do this again, make sure you can see her. If I do that again, and that's not the reality, I've got to look there. So now with this, just taking that pause to look, now when I swing her around, I'm just going to come in through here. So Lindsay, what have you taken away from today so far? Like with what we've shared, I knew I flew through it. Too fast.
I haven't seen I liked the visual of the 3 Wheels of Fashion with the totality of the bridal look. I think that was new for me. And I like how all of the photographs that you were showing were so different, but it was a total look from head to toe. And that really makes it look a lot more expensive.
Yes, yes. Well, your portfolio is your voice. Yes, and, you know, it's a choice, isn't it? Just to be able to do high level brides, or I had a bride that I did. It was a celebrity bride. I did her wedding in Hawaii. It was covered by InStyle magazine. The humidity factor in Hawaii was off the charts. I have no idea what I'm doing with that, so I'm just leaving it alone for right now. The humidity level was insane. And I thought this is going to be a nightmare. But because she had kinky, frizzy hair, I used a hairpiece, which was synthetic. And of course, it didn't frizz. I gelled her own hair, and this beautiful hairpiece was it was almost like a ponytail, but the ponytail lived just imagine kind of a bob ponytail. So it was a high here and it came through here with lots and lots of layers with this sleek and tight with a beautiful tiara. So all of this was hanging down and she looked amazing all from the, early in the day to late at night. She looked absolutely amazing. It was incredible. I looked like Einstein. I was like this large fuzzball.
But it was wise to have the synthetic hair there, knowing that it wouldn't frizz up on you.
Yeah, well, I knew a human hair would be a disaster.
Yeah.
So, it was easy. And I think that's very important. I think a real expert in bridal is going to know, you see, that could be quite cute just leaving that out, but that's not going to happen. That's not the plan.
No.
Any questions in the look? Oh, look, I'm hiding my bling bling. Clearly the bling bling needs to come out. Now you have to be very careful with bling bling. Is she wearing earrings? Is she wearing a necklace? Does she have a bling bling buttons? I mean, there's so many bling bling things that can happen. It can go bling bling wrong.
It can get easy to overdo it for sure.
Yeah. Overdone is never good. So I have this now sorted out, right? You can see that nice effect through there. So now what I'm going to do is make sure that this is all good. So now I'm going to start pulling this apart. So pulling hairstyles apart, Lindsay, any things that you've experienced from pulling a hairstyle apart when it can go horribly wrong?
You've really got to keep using your mirror because there's a point where it's good and then there's a point where you've gone too far. So it's important to stop and take a minute to look at it before you just keep pulling apart and pulling apart and pulling apart.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So you can see here, the whole thing is starting to come to life. So now clearly I'm going to get rid of these little pieces. Scissors do work very well. Bride may not like it.
What would you recommend to fix it if you pull it apart too much?
There is no return.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say that.
There is no return because that's why you've got to keep using your mirror and be super, super, super mindful. Otherwise, it is a total disaster. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to now come in here and start to dimple this to make it have valleys and peaks. So as I'm coming in here, I'm dimpling this so that I get... Sorry?
Do you have a bobby pin or a hairpin?
These are hairpins.
Okay.
Yes, hairpins. So, Lindsay, do you have like a scary tale to tell about a bride, or has yours all been smooth sailing?
Okay, so the worst experience I had was, do you know how in Indian weddings, they'll usually go for like 3 looks, right?
Yeah, they go on forever.
Yeah. So I signed up to do an Indian wedding bride when I was 9 months pregnant, not thinking. And through the first 2 looks at the salon, and then I had to walk down the road to go on location to do the 3rd one.
Yes.
And my feet were so swollen, I couldn't fit into my shoes anymore. And so I was wearing flip-flops, and my flip-flop broke on the way to go to the wedding venue. So I was literally barefoot and pregnant and crying when I walked in there. And I know the assistant was like, never mind, she's good with her 2nd look. You can just go home.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. Wow. Oh, that's sad, right?
Really sad. But yeah, I've had my fair share of I think in the beginning, just because I wasn't confident and I didn't know how to I didn't know I didn't know what questions to ask in the consultation to make sure that me and the bride were both on the same page before we were doing the hairstyle.
Well, clearly I wasn't taught any of that. And where I learned this stuff is in fashion.
Yeah.
And when I took the principles I learned in fashion, I could sit on that part. Just
I
make
love
it.
what they're doing right now. It's really cool.
Yeah, it does look cool, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so now we come in with our hairspray and we would start to separate. I have one of I have one of my worst experiences. I shouldn't be talking about this thing as I'm trying to promote Bridal, but let's get real. I did a multi-million-dollar wedding here in New York. The bride was a challenge. The mother-in-law was a nightmare. And she gave me step-by-step direction on how each section should be blow dried for her hairstyle. And it was torture. And the bride wanted a very difficult hairstyle that required perfection in terms of styling. And there were arguments going on, and it really wasn't I got on and did my job. It was just the drama in the room and being around really toxic energy that I just don't do well with that. And they were shouting at each other and this and that. And it was like it was so awful. And at the end of it, the wedding organizer said, "Oh, we love what you did. Would you like to do some more brides? I've got more clients." I said, "What, like these ones?" And she said, "Yes." I went, "No."
No.
And I said, "No, I'm not interested." And I walked down the road with a wad of money in my hands, crying. And it wasn't because the hair was very successful. It was just the toxicity of the experience. So, and she wasn't one of my clients. It was one of my hairdressing friends in New York who didn't do bridal. It was his client. So she wasn't really my kind of person. And I just said I would do it because he clearly couldn't do it. And it was like, I'll never do that again. So you know what? This is an important message. You have to vet each other. And you have to be able to say no if it's not the right thing.
Well, yeah, because weddings can be so fun to do if the vibe is right and everybody's happy, and usually they're drinking mimosas and having snacks, but when it goes wrong, it goes wrong.
Yeah, and that's okay. Because you can say, "Do you want to book me for the divorce?"
Pre-book.
Yeah, pre-book. There's a special, my friends. This is your marriage thing, but this is the whatever. So I don't know now whether I'm going too far. Lindsay, you can tell me if I am. I have more, so I might as well use them, but that may be a mistake. But I'm just anchoring in through there, just a few little pieces. So it's quite a difference from what we did before. She's a different type of bride. Notice how much I'm using my mirror.
Jessica is asking about how many pins. She's saying it looks like you're using less than what she normally uses.
Oh yeah, I don't use many pins because there's an art in pinning. It's all about, and notice I haven't used any bobby pins other than the elastic. I think I should sit on that part. Or this needs to elevate more just in here.
Yeah.
There you go. So there she is. And notice how I keep looking here, looking here, looking here, looking here, looking here. That's a beautiful angle. That will be a beautiful angle. This is a beautiful angle. That's a beautiful angle. There isn't a bad angle because a bride's hairstyle is photographed all the way. And you see wonderful techniques on Pinterest with trick done, trick done. And very rarely do you see the front. And I know from how the hair is moving, amazing back, dodgy profile, and usually not a pretty front. So there are facts that determine the hair's got to go somewhere. And if you've got all this going on in the back like this, it can be really quite challenging. So that's the look. And I think she works really, really well. Do you like it, my friends? Yeah?
They love it. Yeah.
Good.
Love it. Yeah. I think that one turned out really cool.
Yeah. So here we have our variation of what I just did. And there she is. It's a variation of what I did, but I think she looks really quite gorgeous. And so there's our contrast from the smooth, which is so classic and so elegant and so beautiful, to what we just did. So we have a 2-day boot camp that's going to be happening, and I would love to invite you to that boot camp. We will be exploring classic hairstyles. We will be exploring retro. We will do our lovely, I love this hairstyle. It's one of my favorites. Love it, love it, love it. I love that silhouette. We'll be doing glam brides. So we'll be going through a diversity. We'll be working with hair extensions and obviously how to back comb. So who is this for? Stylists ready to elevate fees. Stylists have tired of undercharging. Stylists ready to lead, not react, because we've all done our reaction and it doesn't help us at all. What the boot camp covers in 2 full days is the consultation psychology and design, classic to relaxed bridal styles, hair extension integration, the art of pinning, the art of backcombing, how to design with hair accessories, and of course, real-time coaching. And the real-time coaching is really marvelous. And also what I will be showing you is these little dollies, how I change them into beautiful final images that you can actually build a portfolio. So the goal here, again, you're going to see, I was able to take the mannequin. Here's our mannequin. Here's her hair exactly the same. Here I took her into, I wanted her to be in a chateau. So this is how you can build your portfolio. So what's going to be amazing here, you can see again from mannequin right the way through and how that's built out. How it works in the bridal boot camp. You learn, you practice, you master. It's action-based learning. So you'll be live with me on Zoom. You'll be able to post your photographs into the forum and you'll get access to the recordings of the boot camp. So you're going to learn how to create modern, high-in-demand bridal hairstyles and also be a leader to be able to book premium clients. And that's very, very important. It will be online, so you can do it from the comfort of your home. You're not going to lose any money by getting on an airplane and everything else. It's from the comfort of your home. So huge saving there. We work from 10 in the morning until 5 p.m. And we will be going over, as I mentioned, live coaching, bridging the gap between technique and vision. 5-star psychology, master the art of consultation, the right look on the bride, which is so important. You will get a bridal consultation PDF. And they'll be going through some step-by-steps, iconic recreations, step-by-step mastery of timeless bridal styles. And then we will go into AI enhanced portfolios. And what's really important about what I showed you is that everything I've shown you is my hair. It's the hairstyles that I've done. So when I use AI, it's to take my hair and then morph it onto a being and then create the magic and create the story. So what I'm going to show you is how to build your portfolio and how to go from the technique that you will learn in class and then how to elevate it and take it somewhere else. Because if you don't have a 5-star portfolio, you can't get 5-star brides. And it's cool to go on location. And, you know, again, when you see how little hairdressers are charging for their services, dog grooming's getting more, right? That's crazy. It's because hairdressers have not mastered the 80% psychology, just been focused on technique. My narrative today, I started with location, dress, then I went into body type, then I went into face shape, then I went to hair. I bet all of you thought she's going to go into hair first. No, it's the last thing I do. And what I have to tell you is that every editorial stylist that I've ever worked with, like the major ones that I've worked with, whether it be for a photo shoot or a fashion show, the first thing they say, including the makeup artist, can I see the clothes? There's a makeup artist I've worked with for years, David Matterich, incredible makeup artist. He comes in and he says, where are the clothes? He wants to see the sensibility, the clothes, how they're going to be. He designs from that place. He designs to the face shape. Then he'll say to me, what are you doing with the hair? I'll say, what are you doing with the makeup? And we build it from there. That's how it plays out, right? So when we're looking at this today, we have 2 levels. Gold level means that you are on the screen live with me. And then silver level means that you are off the screen. You can still talk to me. You can still see the replays, etc., etc. But there are 2 levels, and there's only a few places in gold left. So if you're interested in gold, this is it. You can please take a screen capture. And for those of you who are here tonight already signed up, please take a screen capture of this. Please share it with your friends so that we can get more people to the party. And that would be very, very helpful. And we're seeing here from Spa Body and Mind, welcome. I thought that you would have looked at the style, never thought about looking at the clothes first. Yes, you see, it's a different perspective because it inspires the total look, because it gives the voice to the hairstyle, and that's what's so huge. So, my friends, please take a photograph of this so that you can sign up tonight. And let's go to our prizes. Let's go over and see what we've got going on in that department. Maybe Lindsay, you can tell me who has won the prize for the boot camp.
I think we need Valeria, because I don't know.
Oh, here comes Valeria. Oh, she's going to, well, let's give her a few moments while Valeria's finding out. We also have my favorite tools. My tease brush, my shine brush. I love this shine brush. And then my cute little boar bristle brush. Love this, love this. So these are my gifts that are going. And then, of course, we've got our dolly head. Where did she go? We got our dolly head. Where is she? I think she's here somewhere. Oh, no. Here we go. There's the girl. So we've got a prize going to the online course. We've got a prize of my tools and then a prize of the mannequin head. So we're just waiting for Laria to give us the
She said the winner is Misty.
What did Misty win?
But I think Misty won the big prize.
Did Misty? I thought Misty was already signed up for the course. Okay, Misty, you better communicate. So let's go find out who our next one is. So my friends, while we're figuring out these little gifts, the mannequin, these, are there any questions that you have, and who can you share this with? Maybe what we can do is send this link out to some friends so that they can see it. But let's see if we've got any questions that you have to ask. And you know what's interesting? I was terrified of doing bridal hair, terrified. I was terrified of being in a photographic studio, but I learned how the camera sees a shape. You know, we've got two eyes, the camera's got one. Big difference, right? So when we're looking at it from that perspective, it's a totally different world, totally different world. So I'm just going to go back out here so that people can take a grab of that. Lindsay, what would you like to share tonight? You'll learn any kind of advice or support to our friends. You've been through these trainings. In fact, we do have one hot seat left. Lindsay's actually coming to be live here in my studio, and we have one hot seat left to come and physically be with me here in my studio, which would be totally cool. I'm just going to show you these girls again because I have the original one here. Oops. Here's our original. Let me go. Hold on. Here's the original one that you saw. That's the original one. And this is the one I did for you tonight.
Beautiful.
So clearly, I can't repeat. Thank you very much.
But they're both gorgeous all the way around.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like this effect through here. I think this would be nice to do in the class, don't you?
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. I just left. It's cocktail hour. All right. So do we have our winners?
No. I don't know.
Valeria, who's winning the mannequin head and who's winning the my tools? Because we need obviously the address for everybody. Any questions, my friends?
You have a Chi. What kind of blow dryer is it again? A Chi Lava?
Yes, it's a Chi blow dryer.
Okay.
Yes.
Misty was the winner for the boot camp, and Travis won the tools.
Oh, Travis won the tools. Great. And then who won the mannequin head? Oh, we don't have a winner.
She doesn't have a home yet.
Doesn't have a home yet. Well, I better keep her until someone has. So, my friends, will you all reach out to some friends tonight and invite them? Because it's a special boot camp that we're doing, clearly. And I think I can help you get over the fear of working with brides, because when you have the knowledge, you can do it all. You know, you got to step into your power, and that's where the magic happens. So, Travis won the tools. Okay, where can I get the blow dryer? The blow dryer is this one here, which is Chi blow dryer. Chi Lava, Lava. That's what it is. It's a great blow dryer. It's super tiny and powerful. I don't know what. Valeria, are you there? Who's winning the mannequin? What are we missing?
I think the next person that commented the most was Jessica Daniel, from what I was seeing.
Okay. Well, let's then give it to Jessica. So Jessica, yay. Please put your, are you coming to the boot camp, Jessica? Please make sure that you email your address, otherwise we cannot send this to you. And please share this with your friends. Lindsay, any closing message to share with our friends tonight?
Yes, for anybody that enjoyed this short masterclass, this is just like an appetizer to what we do in the boot camp. I seriously learned so much from every boot camp that I do, and if you're interested at all, sign up. It's really a great class, and you'll learn a ton. It'll give you a good foundation for bridal styling.
And also fashion shows. And one of the things I promise you, we are not doing wedding cake hair.
Yeah.
So Lindsay, thank you so much for being with me tonight. My friends, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Really appreciate it. Do text us if you have any questions about anything that we're doing in our educational platform. Some of you have already been asking me about the hair designer program. It launches next week. It's the last one that I personally will be hosting. So if you want to join me, learn more about face shape, really master your craft, this will be an amazing opportunity as well. So I thank you so very much. Have a beautiful evening. Lindsay, thank you for being with me. Valeria, thank you for being the gatekeeper. And thank you, my friends. Keep doing magical work. And I look forward to our next time together. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye for now.